So, hello everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Velvet Lounge Life. And yes, I will be giving you guys an update on our Community Charmstring Worldwide Button Project. And yes, as you can see, progress has been made. So, excuse the background, but I am relaxing on the sectional sofa and decided to lay out a few things for you guys to look at, as well as, continue with this update so that you can, sort of see what I'm working with as well as what I've done. Okay, so I will admit there have been a few challenges with this project. First of all, as I told you guys, I was going to test out a few stringing options, and thank goodness I did that, because the stringing part has been, as I thought, my second most challenging thing with this project. So one of the things that I had to change is one of the rules, and I hope to not change any more rules. And the rule that I changed was in regards to how the project would be strung. First of all, this 28 gauge wire is not strong enough, and also it twirls and it kinks and it's a mess to work with. The reason why is it's not thick enough. This is the thickness that I need. This is a 26 gauge of the same wire. Who knew that the 28 would be smaller, thinner, less strong actually than the 26. So what I had to do is order more 26 gauge wire. So another issue that I've had with the project, and this is one that I really was unhappy with, but it is what it is that in regards to the physical stringing, I will not be able to do this with a continuous piece of stringing material. So why am I using the word stringing, stringing material is because after I found that I could not string this along a 55-foot piece of, two pieces of wire, I decided to try using this black thread that has like the special coating on it. It's by Coates and someone, I can't remember their name completely, but it's actually something I've used in the past before going to wire as one of my options. I like using it if I am working on a project for someone, like if I'm making a tribute string or something for someone to give them as a gift. I like doing it on that, the actual like cotton black spun thread that would have been used back in the Victorian era. So I decided, since this wire was kinking and this wire was too thin and all sorts of issues were happening with the wire, it even snapped. It snapped on me. So after like the weight of the buttons, and that was on this 28 gauge, the 26 gauge held up really well as always. But anyway, so what I did is I decided to try using the black cotton string that I would normally use. And what happened with that was the following. It was also too hard to handle because of the length. Now, if I was doing something, I've used that up to like 5-6 feet long, no problem. What happens is you do get knotting. And what happens with it is when you go to store it, and then you take it out, that is usually where some of your problems evolve. With a wire, they're ever evolving. It doesn't matter if it's because you stored it and put it away for the evening, or if you are working on your project, you will get kinking, you will get bending, twisting, all kind of crazy stuff. So what I had to do is create the charm string in sections. So I was trying to be tricky and show you how this looked connected, but it wasn't connected. This is a section that I'm working on right here, and this is a section that I completed. or it's not complete, it's a work in progress, because it has, all of this stuff has to be connected together. So what I decided to do is, as I work on one section, there is a proper way to connect these. And, you know, and so that you keep this continuous, almost like a train that you're putting together the cars. They can connect later on, and your train can get bigger and bigger. So I've been figuring out the best ways to connect these, because you do not want a lot of excess wire showing in between your buttons, bits, and bobs. Why? Because it's just not neat. It just doesn't look good at all. And it looks clunky. It just doesn't look good. Even if you were using string, it would not look good. If you're using fishing wire or fishing line, it might look better because it has some clearness to it. However, once you tie it over and over again, and plus fishing line does not tie well. That's another thing. There's a trick to using the fishing line for these projects. If you're creating charm strings, and that trick is you have to light it on fire, folks. Yes, fire comes into play, but what that means is you have a chance of potentially burning whatever is connected, whether it's a button, a bit, a bob, whatever. And you have to be very, very careful. Another thing is a warning about using the wire. Using the wire, please wear eye protection. Okay, I'm not wearing eye protection, but wear it. Why? Because that wire can pop up and hit you in the face, hit you in the eye. It actually hit me in the face a couple times, and that's why I decided to give you this public service announcement. So let me tell you about some of the things that are attached to this. So one of the things I'm going to do is once a month give you an update on how long it is. So I'm not showing you everything that I've done. I worked on this for maybe 4 or 5 hours yesterday. And on September 1st, I worked on it for maybe 2 hours max. So it's a little bit longer than what you see here. So some of the things that you're looking at on here are the bits and bobs. And notice how I have part of a jeweler's loop on there. That's a loop I had for a long time, and I decided why not add it to this. Why? Because I'm struggling to find 2 pounds of just miscellaneous bits and bobs. So I also went to my jewelry box and found that I had this pair of earrings from when we went to Grand Cayman, and I deconstructed them because they never were my style. I don't think I ever wore them even once. And I deconstructed them, so the little animals are going to be added to this charm string. As you can see, one is right there. And of course some fancy buttons, and the other thing I like about this are the various colors of buttons. I wanted to get various colors on this charm string because I think it, you know, it represents the heartbeat of the project, which is diversity, variety, different colors, not just of people, but of the fact that we speak, you know, some of us speak different languages, or, you know, have different ethnicities, different thoughts, feelings, affiliations, etc. And all is welcome as long as it's good. So that's something that I like, is the fact that folks that were donating were kind enough to, you know, send some buttons to me that were, you know, have color in them, that add a little more variety and diversity to this. And obviously, most likely, I'm going to add their name tags near the most interesting buttons that they sent me, so it kind of represents who they are. And this is actually a clip-on earring. And yeah, so there's a lot of, like I said, as far as miscellaneous things, it runs the gamut, and that's totally fine. I think that is part of a bracelet. It's in the shape of a star. I think it's backwards right there. So yes, very happy with the progress as far as the construction now that things have been ironed out. So how am I stringing this? The way that I am stringing the project is I am using the double stringing method. The reason that I'm doing that is for longevity. And if you use a single stringing method, what will happen maybe, and I'm saying it will because even if it's 50 years from now, eventually it's going to break. There will be a weakness somewhere in the project. So double stringing it gives it security. So if one side does snap or break, then the other side hopefully will hold up for another 50 years. I don't know why I always use 50 years as my guideline, but hey, whatever. So the way that I am stringing this is as follows. So as you can see, there are buttons here with 2 holes, actually 2 holes, 4 holes, slots, and the slots really represent, you know, let's say a bit or a bob that I would be attaching to this. I did have a Monopoly game piece here to use as a representative, but I don't know where it is. So I will add a couple other, I'm just looking to see where is it. I had it just a second ago. What else do I have here that I can, oh, I can use this. Oh, that's a good one. Right there. So I'll add some more superstars. So what you have here, as I stated, buttons, bits, and bobs. So with the double stringing, if you have a button with 2 holes on it, like this one, then what you do is you string from the top and the bottom, or the left and the right side. The stringing should always be opposite of each other, so just push that wire or the string through, but make sure it's on the opposite side. If it's on the same side, like here and here, then you will end up with something that's lopsided and the weight will be unevenly distributed, which means that you are putting your project at risk of not lasting long and potentially snapping or breaking. Maybe depends upon what type of material you use for the stringing before you even complete the project. Obviously, if you have something with a 2-hole, that's easier because, hello, you have 2 holes. You'll put your stringing through each one on one side and one on the other side will string through. If it's slotted like this, once again, string through the left and the right side, or some people will say the upper and the lower, however you want to do that. If you have something that has a single hole like this pendant does, then you would just put both pieces through that single hole. And here is a chandelier crystal. Same thing with this. Of course, I would deconstruct this. And if I was going to use this long part of the crystal, then obviously put both pieces of your stringing material through where you see this ring or this loop. And the same, even if you're using this loop, let's say for some reason you decided to string it like this. And if I did that, I would remove the extra loop. But then what you would want to do is string it right through here. Both pieces of your stringing material should go through there. So some of the other things that I discovered are, as I stated in a previous video, tagging. So I needed to find something to tag this project with that wouldn't be like an eyesore. For example, you don't want tags that are ginormous hanging off of this because it takes away from, you know, the buttons, the bits, the bobs, the things that people should really want to look at when it comes to the project. So a beautiful individual who has sent me buttons in the past and sent me a few more for this project also sent me some tags. So versus using the other tags that I have, I'm leaning towards using these. And I can easily cut these down without losing any design because this is pretty. Like the scrolling and the cut that's done up here. And I am not doing an advertisement for anyone, I promise you. And I could cut them about here, and I can use the rest of the card for other things. And then I could use the remainder to attach, like I said, the first name, last initial, the state or country of origin of all of those that donate. And so I am using these. And the reason I'm using them as well is the color, even though the color is a little bit light, that's fine. It kind of goes with a holiday Christmas season. You can't really see it in this light, but these are sort of a light green. And they, oh, there you can see the color better. And they also include this pretty cottony with some sort of metallic string ribbon. So I am 99.5% sure this is exact. I'm saying it right now. This is what I'm using. What else can I tell you about the project? I think I told you about reordering the wire because this wire is not thick enough. This is a 26 gauge wire right here, which is awesome. And what I thought is by ordering the 28 gauge, I would be getting a thicker wire. Lo and behold, the 28 gauge wire is much, much thinner than the 26 gauge wire, which is, this is my preferred material, but for this particular project, because of the length and the weight of it, I wanted to get something a bit stronger, so a little bit thicker, and that did not occur. So what happened with this thinner wire is you had kinking, you had curling, you had twisting, I mean, just craziness going on. And so it was just taking me so long to, you know, have to undo these kinks, to press them out with my needle nose pliers, you know, to make the wire flat again. I was just like, forget this, it's ridiculous. So what I did, like I said, is I had to order brand new wire, so that should be here soon. And I already had some of the 26 gauge in my little supply, so of course that's what I've been using. And also I tried using this spun cotton thread that I love using for projects. And it's one that would have existed in the Victorian era. The company actually existed then, and it's still, they produce now, I think. But usually what I do is I find, if I'm lucky, that particular thread at like sales that I might go to, or a beautiful like viewer might send some to me because they know that it's a material I like using. And I like using that material if I'm making a project for someone. Why? Because it's more authentic than using wire, and and plus those charm strings obviously are not as long, so you're able to use that type of material and, you know, make it more authentic. And also just the feel of it. You can't, like the wire, you should be tucking it so you cannot see it. So it's not something that the person, the giftee, can see, but I know that it's made like, you know, a certain way and more authentically. So but I tried using that string on this project, and one of the issues with the string as well, or I keep calling it string, the thread as well as this wire, or any type of wire, and whether it be in the 26 gauge or the 28 gauge, once again, is trying to keep it straight so it doesn't knot, it doesn't kink. Also, you have to remember, if you're going to do this with, like I thought I could do it with a 2 55-foot lengths of wire. Yeah, you have to be able to manage that and put it away in a way that you can get back to it and not have a nightmare to deal with. And I found that that was just becoming way too time consuming. So on September 1st, when I started the project, guess what? I spent a lot of time unkinking, uncurling, flattening, fixing. The wire snapped on me 2 times, and I finally just said, forget it. I don't believe in trying to walk through a wall and conform it into a door. That's basically a messed up quote from Coco Chanel that I just messed up. But yeah, it's like, at some point you have to sit there and say, does this make sense? Is it, you know, whatever. And so what I'm doing is creating the charm string in pieces, and I'll show you. So as you can see here, what I have is a section of that charm string that I was showing you that I've been working on for this project. And so I am creating the charm string in like 5-foot segments I found is easier to deal with, and there's a lot less kinking. Also, one of the things to remember, which most people don't think about, is when you're finished working on this for the evening, the day, whatever it is, you want to put it away and be able to easily pick it up and continue with it whenever you're continuing. And I found that I am able to twirl up this excess wire and not have it be a big kinky mess and waste of material like I did when I was trying to do it with these long 55-foot sections. And remember, there's 2 pieces because I am double stringing this. So you have a wire here and you have a wire here, and all of this is being strung through. As you can see right here, this is double strung, and here is an example of how I attach the wire going through. Like, this is a 2-hole button. And also, if you are using cloth buttons, it's sort of like sewing. You have to, you know, push it through the like wherever the material is on your button. So here's one. You can see I was able to thread it through. And I actually, because I'm using wire, threading it through, I actually can use the end of the wire, which I cut on a angle, which you will probably not be able to see because it's so... Let's see if I can show you against actually the red box lid. Let's see, where are you? Here. I don't think you'll be able to... Can I focus? Focus, you almost have it. Damn, come on, you can do it. I don't think you'll be able to see it clear enough, but actually there you can see it a little bit. So I always cut on an angle when I cut the wire, so that way if I have any threading to do like I did through these cloth buttons, I'm able to push them through. Also, the wire does need to be thick enough to go through. So if you use a skinny 28 gauge wire, it will just bend. It will not make it through. It's not strong and sturdy enough as the 26 gauge is. So that is, oh, just to show you, look, this bag of buttons came from Alaska. Alaska is the farthest distance that we have so far for someone who has donated to the project. And I appreciate every single donation. Right now I have 2 offers of donations, and I keep hoping with bated breath that the post office will have packages for me, because once again, my number 2 concern and issue with this project is simply having enough materials to finish it in buttons, bits, and bobs. And as you can see, this is a good example of, you know, bits and bobs. We have some religious medallions. We have many non-religious ones, like leftover pendants that people had from different jewelry things that were broken or whatever. I have some rhinestones that are set in like these settings with the claw. You can see they're like how they're set in there. That's the best way for a project like this, because you know that those pieces will not pop out, especially if you have animals or small children. You want to be careful with stuff like this. And there's actually 2 holes in it so that I can get the wire through on the left and right side. This is from a chandelier that was deconstructed some time ago, and there's still a few crystals left from it. So something like this, I would string the, let me pick that up again, of course. There you go. I don't know why these crystals are not behaving today. What does that mean? Who believes in crystals and stuff? If you do, note down below in the comments and tell me what it means. So here, what I would do is put both pieces of string through this O-ring, and I would remove that extra O-ring that's just hanging down, or take this off completely, just use the round part of it, or get rid of all of that and just use a teardrop part of it. Like, there's options. And of course that adds a beautiful blast of color as well as some glittery shine when a light hits it. And then of course, color is the other thing, as I said, with this project that I will say is a concern. I'll say it's a little bit of a concern simply because I don't want the project to just be all black, brown, and white, because those are the easy, simple buttons that obviously most people have. And believe me, I have plenty of those I'm already adding to this Charmstring, so anything with color is much, much appreciated. Yes, I'm using shell, mother of pearl buttons, like whatever I can get my hands on. That is, I actually deconstructed this string of bells that we had so I could use it for this. I've gone through our garage, etc., looking for bits and bobs. And of course, every piece of clothing we no longer need and we know we were never going to wear again. If it had buttons on it, that made sense. If the buttons were standard, I did not take them off. We just donated the clothes. So I got to do one chore, and also find things for the hobby as well as for this project. It was really nice. So anyway, that's where we are with the project right now. A beautiful individual viewer sent us these gorgeous cards to use for the project. So this is what I'm going to use to put your names as well as your donation, the state where you're located. So I'll put simply your first name, last initial, or maybe no last initial. And I'll put the name of your state or country on the card so that you could be represented in this project. Because once again, it's a worldwide project. So we really want to make sure that, we thank everyone that took the time to donate. We have a couple donations that we're hoping actually come through. Another one from Alaska, another one from a lady, I believe she's in Tennessee. So that will definitely help, because if you have anything you would like to donate to this project, please see the description and the comments of this video so that you have the mailing information that you need, as well as if you have questions on how to mail to us, please send me an email. Mailing first class mail is best for anything that weighs under 1 pound. Just make sure that, the items are placed in a Ziploc bag so that they don't, open up and damage the mail machinery, as well as just to make sure they get, all to us in one piece. And then you can take plastic bags. You can even put boxes. It doesn't matter as long as the package weighs under 1 pound, which is 16 ounces. Also, what you can do is use the priority flat rate envelope that the post office provides for free. And if you can, I think you could put up to 40 pounds worth of stuff in those envelopes. And it's only like $7 or $8 to send it anywhere in the United States. And I think overseas it's like $14, $15, something like that. And in those flat rate envelopes, you are allowed to put plastic bags. You could put boxes in it. Anything, if it fits, it definitely ships. They could care less if it's flat or if it's fluffy and puffy, just add some tape to it to make sure that it doesn't open up. We actually have mailed sneakers in a flat rate envelope to someone because we had to get them to them, and we were actually way across the United States. So, and it worked, and there were no issues whatsoever. And I think back then it was only like $7 for the priority mail flat rate envelope. So anyway, that's where we are. Please consider donating to this project. We appreciate every single person that has donated so far. You are stellar. You are stars. You are making this possible. And I would like to tell you guys, just to make sure that you know that your health is your wealth, and without your health, you have nothing. So please take care of yourselves and each other, and have a wonderful day.